So as I spoke of in the last two tracks concerning Frozen Crown, we took a bit of a deviated journey from what I expected to do, and that was when I first started consulting Frozen Crown's artistic offerings, and some of you might not be familiar with the name of this, might be a first introduction for you, not just perhaps to my regards of them, or even just my work in general on this channel, but perhaps Frozen Crown as artists. Think Italian power metal, and a real staple talent at that. I've been very impressed with what I've heard, and I think you will be too if you are a fresh listener of theirs. But we started with Crowned in Frost, their second album that debuted in 2019. But I decided upon listening to the first two tracks of what I'd chosen, which was by the tracks that got, for the most part, this is how I normally go about choosing good selections of works for most artists, with some exception in part, depending on the occasion, perhaps in the particular talent. I will run by what got a corresponding music video or visualizer in order to be best accommodating to being fair to all the other artists I have yet to consult. And it's a growing number. Many of you, as I've said many times, in my goal to bring music into greater presence on this channel, which has more than succeeded thus far in the 2023 year, and I can't wait to see how it evolves from here. Aside from our artistic ventures, music very much for me is that first passion and love. And I love the experience, I relish the experience, in fact, that I have in particular with music coverage. These are very much passion project videos, and that they're shared experiences, perhaps. Though I can't necessarily see all of you, or really any of you. I can perhaps work off of the comments you provide if you choose to leave a word at all. We're having a shared experience of sorts, in that you're experiencing music perhaps with me for the first time, or you're reflecting on somebody who's engaging in music for the first time with a talent that you've been more than familiarized to for a number of years. I know Frozen Crown, that applies, because they have a substantial following and they absolutely deserve it. And I hope it grows. Maybe for some of you, again, like I said, this is going to be a first impression with Frozen Crown's talents. And you're going to be compelled, based on Battles in the Night, the track we're about to look at, of which you could probably tell is what the video subject is here, you're going to be compelled to look back on their past library. We did that in the previous 4 videos concerning their first album, The Fallen King. Again, I was very compelled based on the first 2 songs I covered off of Crowned in Frost being Never Ending in the Dark. Then I'm like, I want to go back. I want to spend as much time with this group as possible. Again, I love the European metal scene. I can't get enough of it, as many of you know. Well, I'm open to all geographies, and there's a couple of countries I've touched on besides Europe, including America, South America, and New Zealand presently, and there's a couple others I've got lined up, again, based on your considerations that will, God willing, be getting to eventually. But I decided with Frozen Crown I want to spend as much time with them as possible. Again, I was greatly entertained going into them when I first approached. Their talents, at least in name recognition, being Giada Gianetto's, the front lady here, her appearance with Volturian, an Italian modern metal group, if you're not familiar, through the In a Heartbeat collaborative track off of Crimson. And I love that piece so much. I'm part of the vocal structures on both artists, really, because Federica Lana is equally talented, but Giada impressed me so much. And again, I saw at that point the connection was Frozen Crown. And I'm like, I gotta hear more. And so it was just in the cards for me to consult Frozen Crown one day. We've done just that thus far for a selection of 6 works in total. But again, as I said, I took a pause with Crowned in Frost because I wanted to go back. I wanted to go to the beginning and spend as much time as possible, so we did that with The Fallen King. But now that we've summed up the selection of tracks I've had in lineup of coverage, we're returning back to where we started, with Battle in the Night. This is following In the Dark, in fact. This is the 4th track off the album, and I cannot wait to experience it with a number of you. I'm sure, especially if this is going to be first introductions for. And I do hope, like I said, for some of you it is going to be that. I know not for all of you that might not be the case. It's been funny, by the way, I don't think, thinking back on when I started covering Frozen Crown, when I published the content, really, I'm late to the party on everything. I'm trying to work on getting back on board with things. Getting caught up is such a process, especially since, given how much I consult on this channel in terms of artistic offerings on a number of different fields, it's a lot to keep up to tabs with for the most part. But it amazed me, because normally some of my videos take a bit longer to gel in presence with an audience. So perhaps when I get feedback, perhaps from other listeners who become, or who are maybe avid fans of the group already, or the particular tracks I'm spotlighting, or are new emergent fans, those comments take a bit of time to swing in. But with certain European groups, it has been immediate interaction. It's really funny to me. Again, like I said, the European metal scene, I love spending time here. On part again, because we're having shared experiences together, and they're always so much fun. But with Frozen Crown, the minute I published all 4 of their first pieces of what I covered at the time together, it's like, here come the comments. I'm like, wow, it's like you guys are really on the ball with Frozen Crown. Like, they're really in everybody's, and especially since I'm going back into older work, right? I'm not sticking with the newer tracks, at least at first. We're going to get to those eventually, but it just surprised me, like, how quick on the ball comments came flooding in. It was like, okay. I'm like, hey, there's some avid Frozen Crown listeners out there, and maybe these videos aren't necessarily as dated as I thought in some respect. Again, I'm catching up here, but we're having a great time together, and it's just been a wonderful journey thus far. 6 tracks in, let's add a 7th, perhaps together. With those of you, like I said, maybe you're knowledgeable, so you're getting the perspective of somebody who this is going to be very much a first debut listen with. Or maybe some of you, this is Frozen Crown is a totally new name to you. I think they're going to quickly become a favorite of yours if you happen to be a metalhead fan, especially if you're into power metal, aggressive riffs, beautiful, talented vocals on part of Giada and Federico Mondelli, the lead guitarist, Giada's husband, in fact, in real life, and guitarist off of Be the Wolf. We'll get to them eventually. They're never like... It's funny how this is like the trifecta of connected groups in the Italian metal scene. You've got Frozen Crown, Volturian, and Be the Wolf. It's really funny. I mean, the point of... relation, and that happens to be Federico Mondelli. He serves in all 3 groups, and each is their own like unique genre and part, but this is more so the power metal side, and I've just been so impressed thus far. And I'm part of the guitarist as well, Talia Bellazecca, and I forget the other guy's name, and the percussionist even, who's also from Volturian. At least I know they've changed their lineup in current day, but I've just been so impressed with them. I think you're going to have a fun time, especially if the video, and the video will always deliver, I'm sure, but if it, especially on the experience side, you're going to be jiving with it pretty well, especially if this is going to be a more aggressive song. We'll see. I mean, Battles kind of cues up that energy. Let's see if it goes down that path, or maybe it can go on the more balanced side, right? I'm going to go ahead and cue up the piece. We got the video to correspond, so both will appear for you in a minute. And as per usual, if you're not familiar with my coverage, I do try and provide every accommodation I can to suit listener taste. So if you'd like to read along with the lyrics of the piece and the storytelling, those lyrics will appear to you alongside the video, in fact, on the video feed, and they'll transition along with the song as we navigate our way through it. But let's go ahead and initiate the song. Here we go. Battles in the Night. Let's enjoy this together for the first time. Perhaps. Or maybe, again, like I said, some of you are going to be watching somebody experience this for the first time, and you'll have a nice reflective journey, and perhaps looking back on your own journey with Frozen Crown, it'll be a good parallel. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but I can imagine. Okay, good entry pace. Okay. I like it. Good key and great introductory energy. Has a more foreboding sense. Given the release dates, I'm sensing again a bit of an evolution in what I'm hearing from The Fallen King. It's cool to hear. Great storytelling as well. Nice, varied pitch. I love it. Giada's so talented. Oh, that was beautiful. I love that overlap. This is probably my favorite song thus far in terms of energy and delivery. I said that in the last track. Oh, this is so good though. One of their stronger debuts, really is. It's just the riffs, the storytelling, everything's working here for me. Oh, here we go again. I love this. Love this area on the vocal side, especially that overlap point. just take the experience in. It's kind of like where our mind's sitting right now. Beautiful. I love the allowance for an isolated performance on part of Giada's vocals there. It's just so impressive listening to her. And then we get the riffs to come back in, especially on this overlap point between Federico and Dalia. It's just beautiful to listen to. And this has been the case in previous works of theirs, but it's always just such a fun time with Frozen Crown. Just shred it too, I love it. Nice concluding element there. Oh, it completely drops off too. I wonder how many times I'm going to say in regards to as we evolve, in our understanding of Frozen Crown together, perhaps, I wonder how many times I'm going to say that this track is now my favorite. I've said previously I don't like to rank things, but because my mind constantly changes, and then I feel like I'm doing a disservice perhaps if I like this song, and I'm like, well, I like that one too, and I don't want to be unfair to it. Plus, I'm like, I don't know. I change my mind like all the time on things, but I mean it when I say that every track I've loved from Frozen Crown has been great. Every track I've listened to of you has been fantastic, and Battles in the Night is no different. I just leave this piece though being like, this is not my favorite. It's the new one. Maybe again, like I said, we'll be reiterating that, but in the future then, just keep in mind this is a very significant favorite from theirs, from their library. Everything about that video for me just clicked. And I have to say, coming off of The Fallen King, this very much appears like a bit of an evolution now that I look at it in a return. Not just on the video quality, like it's shot a little better too in terms of the lighting. I like the darker atmosphere, especially when like Giada's behind the fence and stuff like that, or the gate. It has this nice fantasy history type feel, especially on the European side. It just really clicks for me. And, I've said as well in regards to, like, performance-esque videos, right? And bands might take different approaches. They might do, like, a live performance, or it might be, there's some methodical pacing of the type of illustration they're going for. Maybe there's a general storyline. Maybe there's a bit of, like, conceptual animation, even maybe on occasions. I mean, it can greatly vary from artist to artist. I like performance videos and the respect that you truly get an impressive encounter with the artist's passion. And watching really watching the band in their entirety perform, like you can clearly tell everybody's so devoted to producing an experience with this piece. And I truly do believe the video is one of their best accompaniments to their works, because it truly emboldens the joy that I experience as a listener in understanding just the devotion that each band member is employing. And I have to say, in terms of specific standout, because she does take grand focus on part of her vocals here. I mean, the riffs are great, too. Like I said, the blending between Talia and Federico. Again, like I said, I know the band's lineup has changed presently, but the overlap here works seamlessly, especially on that faster-paced riff structure towards the end, near its conclusion. Perfect summary element. Keeps that energy going. Giada takes center stage, though, especially on her vocal delivery, and the wavering of her voice on that just was so beautiful to listen to. Again, like I said, she has such a stable range in my mind. It's partly because, again, her accent is just so natural and feeding into the lines she's singing and her vocal capabilities, but what was the section that I specifically noted? I think it was the... I'm trying to think of the exact line where it popped up. But I think it's one of the transitions into the chorus from my memory. It's where Federico, you can hear him swing in on the vocal side. And there's an overlap. It's so subtle, too. Okay, so the reason... I think it's right after the reason for this war, at least on the first iteration. I know it appears later as well. When you hear each... Giada and Federico, and I've said before, they're like the vocal Italian power metal, power couple in my mind. They just are. They fit so well together. It's such a natural crossing. That second O just lingers in my first entrance of the piece. And again, like I said, each is singing kind of a different range and note, but it's that blend that just is so... it's enrapturing to me. When I experience this piece, even just on memory, it lingers. It stays with you. And as always, the storytelling of the album or the song is great too. I mean, it's got great writing, always very rich. And again, like I said, I'm not as familiarized with European or even just Italian culture generally. So maybe the storytelling here is fixating on some tale that I'm not, or maybe some real life, parallel that I'm not the most informed on. But I come from a writing background, so I obviously notice capable writing structures. And for me, again, like I said, their storytelling, I've noted this many times, it's always a lot of fun to experience. And I just feel, again, speaking on every element here, Battles of the Night, especially on energy, it's a great power metal ballad. Or, not ballad's not fair to say. It's a great power metal beast of a song. It really is. Everything here is just so tight-fitting for me in regards to my interest in Frozen Crown. And again, as I said many times, in the metal scene, though I keep an open door, broadly speaking, I do gravitate to the hectic, headbangy type thrash songs. And this has a great energy of that it's going to be an immediate, satisfactory replay. I mean, it already was on a first listen. I'm sure it was for everybody else who has entertained this track with me too. And maybe some of you have again heard this for a while now. It's been a long time listen in the many years you've been a Frozen Crown fan. Again, you're getting the perspective of somebody who's a fresh listener. Maybe some of you are approaching that from that dynamic as well. And I'd love to hear about it down below if you wish to disclose your perspective. For me, as I said, this is an immediate favorite of a song. And I'm sure I'll be saying that a lot more, Frozen Crown into the future. I have no doubt about that. But just based, again, on what I'm hearing thus far. But Battles in the Night is a good replay. It's a beautiful song. Easily sticks in my mind. Strong debut from them. And great video to accompany. Beautiful performance to watch and to feel like I'm almost sitting there, right? Like a live show. I'd love to go if I ever had the opportunity. I'd probably have to go to Europe to do so, unless they came to America. Like, half these groups I listen to in Europe, I'd love if they could make the journey eastward. It'd be nice. Especially if somebody doesn't travel that often, or especially overseas. I've never gone over internationally from what I can remember. Anyway, I love the experience of Battles in the Night. In every respect, the song I feel truly delivers on every capability that Frozen Crown is well exercised at this point. And like I said, for me, when I experience this piece, I feel like this is a bit of an evolution from The Fallen King. And I love that album, but this is the second debut. And this song is just tight for me in delivery. Everything here satisfies 100%. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.